Hello, Ultimates. Welcome back. Today, I want to be exploring something that has never been explained before from what I can tell online. And that is that Junko and Mukuro aren't actually sisters. Well, kind of. I mean, if you look at it, it says they're fraternal sisters, which is a bit weird. Fraternal means not from the same parent or the same sperm. Gosh, that's confusing. Anyway, Sonia Nevermind, the ultimate princess, is in fact Mukuro Ikusaba's sister. That's weird, right? So I'm gonna go explain my theory and let me paint you a little story. The Nova Selena Kingdom, it's a small but prosperous country in Europe. Every one of its people serves and learns military training all the way up in elementary school and above. Being such a small kingdom, it's expected to help defend the nation as a whole. Its king a man with dark black hair, and its queen a woman with hair as blonde as can be. They are praised and loved by the public. But under the surface, the king is harboring a dark secret. He has gotten together with a freckled peasant girl, and she was now pregnant with his child and gives birth. For years, the royal family had a steady reputation, and he and his wife were publicly now trying to have a child for themselves. He let his royal advisor, after finding out about his child with the peasant woman after it was born, deal with the situation. The advisor schemes to kill the child and mother, viewing that as the easiest way to get rid of them. The mother, like everyone else, was trained in military style from an early age. She fought, she tried to outmaneuver the government, and eventually she ends up passing away. But before she passes away, a worker at a nearby orphanage happens to be near. She lies, saying something else had brought her to her end, and her child, whose name is now Makuro Ikusaba, meaning corpse or dead body, a ironic name taking the mother Ikusaba and Makuro front to form it. Satisfied her child will live another day, even if she won't. Sonia Nevermind and Makuro Ikusaba have a lot in common. So let's talk about the physical commons between Makuro and Sonia. Long hair. Makuro's hair is quite long. In that regard, Sonia's is also can be very long. Both of them share a build that is both towards being somewhat taller and slender rather than being on the shorter side as women, and have somewhat athletic physiques and are very much in shape. Light skins. Both are extremely light skinned with fair skin. They both have small, delicately drawn noses. Both of them are similar in age, with Makuro being born on December 24th. Sonia, never mind, is born on October 13th. So if we're thinking about a world in which one sister is born first, and there's a little time delay before the official royal child is born, conservative number, how about 293 days? Military skills. Sonia is very knowledgeable of warfare, knowing how to act in such a situation, how to use a large variety of weaponry, including firearms, combat vehicles. In Danganronpa 2.5, she is seen wearing an assault vest and firing a rocket launcher. In her home country, all children receive a course in modern warfare in elementary school. Sonia's military experience was also found in Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair when she and the remaining class students searched the Jabberwock military base for information. Sonia understood the different types of military technology and said it would be useful for combating the Future Foundation. Her willingness to go into combat shows her experience training in a field. Both of them are very composed when they need to be. Both of them have a very strong dedication. In Makuro's case, that's going to be to Junko and ultimate despair, while Sonia's to her people and to her friends. It's very weird that Makuro happens to be in the game Danganronpa 2. Kuro's in Danganronpa 2 in the sound files, has her own little sprite and everything. After being settled in the orphanage, after crawling, walking, learning words, meeting her sister, growing up, Makuro was told that she was something called a fraternal twin to Junko. From her understanding about her mother, it seemed her mother had gotten pregnant with separate men before disappearing. It didn't matter to Akuro, however, because she had never met or had any memory of her mother. But she understood that Junko was the closest thing to family she had. Junko wasn't like any other normal child. Junko had a very advanced understanding of the world. Even as a child, Junko viewed her birth as a regret. She was bored of the world, and between the two sisters, she pushed the boundaries of the world more and more. Despair and intense emotion causing her gray world to get unpredictable and exciting was all she yearned for. Any child that came across Junko in the orphanage experienced misfortune, except one, her older sister, Makuro Ikusaba. Makuro was to Junko as a perfect foil, a familial tool to use as she pleased. She warped her sister's personality at an early age and values to fit her ambitions. That meant Mukuro had studied vigorously military tradition and had developed an unnaturally strong spirit for physical work, stealth, combat, and decisiveness in the moment. Mukuro was easy to manipulate. She had a hard time socializing, and Junko made sure to isolate her from any other friendships, relationships, or even family statuses in the orphanage with the others. It's one evening they had injured a boy so badly he was disfigured. The orphanage that had homed them for many years for the safety of the other children was forced to send both girls out and onto the streets. Eventually, during one of their crime activities, both teenagers were caught by the police. Questioning, Junko cast herself as a victim, how she was coerced by her sister. She pinned her lack of social understanding and rough and violent tendencies and an interest with fighting and military and other intense activities as problematic. Both girls were separated and given different juvenile facilities that would spend the next year or so of their life in. Junko got out quickly for good behavior. She was quickly adopted into a decently well-off, richer family, getting a richer upbringing. Mukuro, however, ended up being in there longer, had a harder time being adopted into a family, and even after everything, had a harder time adjusting to real life after all the violence of the streets, as well as her upbringing and just overall how she was influenced by Junko. The family she was eventually adopted into, with the idea of an orphanage or adopting somebody, naturally your family is going to be close by, and most people don't travel thousands of miles to adopt a child. And would you believe that her family comes from, well, Europe? You know, this is something I've never heard of before. Would you believe that we have former high schools? Former high schools meaning, well, every one of the people who's a ultimate, before they went to Hope Speak Academy, they had to have been in a prior high school before they were accepted, which is crazy. I never knew about that. Now, Junko School is a reference to a real world school which gained national attention for a specialization in English language immersion. Makuro's school, however, is unknown. So Junko and Mukuro, they didn't go to the same school. At a young age, prior to becoming a teenager, Mukuro left her family while they were in Europe to be recruited and trained in the elite mercenary group based in the Middle East named Fenrir Mercenary Group to go and meet her family after all these years and to see how they were doing. She'd hoped that they were still alive. After getting there, however, she found only a letter. The letter saying to go to Japan, and it was from Junko. And it said, P.S. I also killed your adopted family. Upon getting there, she was given a big manipulative sister hug who expressed to her about how she's the only one that really cares for her in the world. And then she's the only one who is her family in this world. And well, the rest of the story, why isn't that in my Makuro character exploration video located in the top right corner? Make sure to hit that like button. But what do you think? Does my theory hold weight? Can you see a world in which these two were actually sisters from a European country together? Or does it sink into the deepest despair? Thanks for watching Ultimates. Peace out. Bye bye.